Peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Salute. Peace and power to the people that struggle. How are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? As you come on in, know that you are welcome. Know that you're in a safe space. Know that you're in a space for learning, for educating, and being educated. We encourage critique, dialogue, questions. All right? Peace and power to all. As the moderators come in, please make sure all green screen information is in the chat and all contact information is in the chat. Salute, salute, salute. How we doing? How we doing? I'm going to keep it very light tonight, as light as I can, considering the subject, because tonight has been, well, the day has been a very, very emotionally charged and overwhelming day for me. A lot of highs, no lows, but a lot of sadness. Today was a day we held a funeral for my cousin, my brother, Ameer Lawton. And as I spoke about him last week, many of you know exactly how much he meant to me. So to see all the family come out, see all the friends come out, standing room only, to, send him off. It was a great, great thing. The ritual or rituals when our people transition, when our loved ones transition, something I wasn't forced to participate in as a young person, as a child. I believe I went to my first funeral when my grandmother passed in 1992. And I would already come home from the service and a state bid. By that time, I never went to funerals at all. And in my adult life, and as of recent, I've been to quite a lot. But this one had a very different impact on me. And in it, since I keep this show intertwined with our culture, to always let you know that there is life in the culture, that we just don't listen to music, that we are just not entertained by thespians, that it is an integral part of who we are as people. Sans, right? Or rather, thus, the title and the other individual in the thumbnail, Orpheus JustO Faison. Now, if you're young, and I mean young in the culture, you may not have ever heard of the JustO Mixtape Awards, but at one time, it was viewed as a space where you will find the next group, DJ, MC, the next that would run or be highlighted in the industry and in the culture. How are JustO and Ameer related? Well, again, as I always say, in PennWortman houses, we were the first tenants to populate that NYCHA development. Ameer and I is in 155 Wortman. Orpheus, right? And see how powerful that name is to be having in the late 60s, early 70s. Orpheus was in 920 Vermont. And shout out to all of Vermont, all our 920 Vermont family who came through and helped us send off Ameer. The Woods family, especially Roshana Woods, Jenny, you know, and you know, her always welcoming energy, and our 875 Pennsylvania family as well. Everybody who showed up, my goodness, everybody who showed up and showed love. It was definitely deeply appreciated in our time. But again, I moved into 155 Wortman, I believe I was 4 years old. And of course, the Lawtons, who were the other family in there, who were practicing Muslims, was one of the first families that we met. But now in the other two buildings in 920, Orpheus Faison was my childhood friend. And we're talking from pre-K to kindergarten. It's a powerful name for a little boy, right? And you couldn't tell me nothing about Orpheus because that was my friend. Every morning he would come to my window, yell up at the window for me to either play basketball or run through the wooden park. And through the years, he was always noticeable because he began to grow in height and in stature. His family was a family of big people. He had his brother Doug, who we lost Doug a few years back too. Ironically, in the same way we lost JustO. But they were big guys, big dudes. Like, you know, over the years, they could have been on any wrestling circuit. I mean, these were big men, well-spoken, well-groomed, and at every different growth spurt, Orpheus seemed to be the center of attention. And we shared so many memorable moments in our upbringing that we never, no matter what happened throughout our adult years, lost touch. And I wanted to merge these two individuals together because as we were laying and, you know, preparing Ameer for today's funeral services yesterday, it was JustO's birthday. It was JustO's birthday. And shout out to DJ Fran Lover. Fran Lover posted the pic that I used in the thumbnail. And when I saw that it was his birthday, and then I went digging and looking and making an attempt to recollect when we lost JustO, when we lost Orpheus, what was going on in my life during that time, because I was in consistent contact with him. As a matter of fact, um, if you don't know, if many don't know, we lost Orpheus to a car fatality in Virginia. And we were in such communication with each other that the police or law enforcement that arrived on the accident scene and in the hospital called the last two numbers in his phone at that time. We lost JustO in 2005, so it wasn't any of these smartphones, it were just cells. And they called two numbers. They called Sean Bolden, Sean B from 783 Fame, and my number. We were actually the last two people to have spoken to JustO. And when I look back to see the date that we lost him, it was in the week of May, the second week of May, around the 13th or the 14th. And I remember that in the first week of May is when I buried my mother. There was so much going on. I had lost my mother. We had lost JustO. I lost another good friend of mine. It was a lot going on. And that was that month of May in 2005. So shout out to Fran for posting that pic of JustO for his born day yesterday. And definitely, all praise doing and shouting my cousin Ameer. Again, it was a beautiful service. I seen a lot of people, a lot of day ones. Of course, we talked, hugged, cried, took pics, did all the regular stuff that you do, and the ritual of what, someone who has transitioned and us, being a part of it, doing all the regular things that we usually do. So it was just a mix of emotions, and in it, I was going to fall back tonight. But I said, you know what? No. Because in all of this, I am making an attempt to connect what was really going on during all this time. And how we grew as a community, how we acknowledged each other, and just how instrumental our area of East New York has been in the music industry. I already told you about Jimmy Spicer. I already told you about the Bad Boys, Inspector Gadget, Fame. I already told you, right, about Sonic. But a lot of people may not know how powerful and important JustO and the Mixtape Awards were. Once the televised Source Awards started losing steam, and you had the DVD mixtape era dominating the streets of NYC, the 5 boroughs in Jersey and Connecticut, the tri-state and beyond, because the winner of the awards was printed in all of the publications, XXL, Source, right, Rap Pages and things of that nature. So I am not knowledgeable on why or how he put the awards together, because I wasn't in the town at the time. and didn't know who the hell he was. I'm up top reading publications and just, making an attempt to stay in tune with what was going on the outside. But I kept hearing mixtape awards, JustO Mixtape Awards, Mixtape Awards, JustO this and JustO that. And he's getting all the DJs together. And the DJs are, winning Best Mixtape or the Red Alert Award or the Kid Capri Award to, again, acknowledge the DJs and how important they are to the culture, which many people forgot. Many people forgot that at one point it was only about the DJs. So I'm always reading, and some of the winners of the awards, right, were people like K Slade, which eventually led to him becoming credible and using it as a platform to do the iconic and legendary work that he ended up doing in the culture. It started the Mixtape Awards, right? G Unit, 50 Cent, all, everybody, Clue, all of them, everybody would submit these tapes to JustO. And I didn't know what the hell or who it was because I was in the mountains. So the information that I'm getting was minute. No matter how much you read in the mountains, it's nothing compared to being in the town and actually seeing it and moving it and living it. So I just heard JustO. I didn't know what it was. Long story short, I come to the town. I get back to the town, and again, nobody really knew that I was on the set because that's what you have to do if you want to be successful and escape the stigma of recidivism. Not a stigma, but you don't want to be a recidivist, which means going back to jail. You have to, fall all the way back and really not allow a lot of people to know that you even in town and play everything fair. So a lot of people didn't know I was home really for about the first year. It was whispers, it was trinkles, but nobody really saw me. I didn't play. I followed curfew, all the stipulations, whatever stipulations was, I followed it. Simple as that. That's the only way you get to stay and remain home. If not, revolving door. So, I can recall that I finally put the finishing. Matter of fact, I not only put the finishing touches on the book, I was actually out selling my memoir at the time. And I ran across a few of the day ones and they kept saying, yo, Orpheus is looking for you. He heard you home. Orpheus wants your number. Orpheus wants your number. Oh, get in touch with Orpheus. So I get his number, call him, and as customary with us people from the town, he took me out to dinner and just really chopped it up, reconnected. We talked about everything. Like, he was always in the mix and always doing something. And, when we went back, I went back to the time that he was in Bobby Brown's very first video as a solo artist. Bobby Brown video for Girlfriend. that was very big back then. People from East New York, though somewhere in the industry, you just didn't end up in a music video if you weren't singing or rhyming or dancing or something. In Bobby Brown's first video, JustO, Orpheus is a guy that's coming down the stairs with a basketball because he was a standout basketball player all through, middle school and high school. And the girls around the way were going crazy. You seen Orpheus? You seen Orpheus? Now we talking, you see what we talking? We talking mid 80s. And not only was he, you know, star athlete in his school, now they see him in a video with Bobby Brown, one of the new edition. And so that was big. It was big for us. And I used to always tease him about it. Like, you need a girlfriend, huh? You know? And that was our little running joke every time I saw him. But that's what probably started the bug for him, because then I heard him mixing, becoming a DJ, and making an attempt to get further into the industry. But y'all know my story. Around that time, I was getting into the street. So, paths do this, but PennWortman, our housing development, we always found a way to either know what each other were doing or doing the same things, Or for quite a few years, I didn't see him. So when he took me out, we just chopped it up, and we got to speaking on music and who's nice and who isn't. Yo, you heard this, you heard that, you heard this. And I asked him, I said, yo, what is this mixtape awards? Like, what's this JustO? Who's JustO? You ever heard of JustO Mixtape Awards? And he looked at me and smiled, laughed. He was like, you being funny, right? I said, no, I'm not being funny. When I was up top, I was reading about this JustO and his mixtape awards, and everybody was submitting they tapes and me, and yo, who is he? How does he have, his hand on the pulse of the industry like that? He said, I don't know. Why don't you ask him? I said, yo, you know him? You gonna call him or something? And he's like, yo, you really play? You really don't know? I said, no, I don't know. He said, yo, I'm JustO. I said, JustO? I said, you JustO? He said, yeah, I'm JustO. I said, Orpheus? He said, yeah, ever since we was kids, people had problems pronouncing my name or had trouble remembering it. So I told them in the industry to call me or to just say JustO. And that is how the name came about. He said, yo, I'm JustO. That's my mixtape awards. I was like, are you serious? He said, yeah. He said, that's it. He said, it's a lot of work though, because I'm doing, majority of it on my own. But, I love the culture. And, again, I always was so surprised that so many of my day ones were doing things that ended up being monumental, but they didn't necessarily set out for it to be like that. They just did it for the love. And when you do something because you enjoy it, because you have a love for it, the energy vibrates and other people begin to notice it, to enjoy it, to embrace it, and allow it, to become what it eventually became. So that was, it grew everything. Damn, a billboard or man, even remember Vibe had awards and Source Awards and JustO Mixtape Awards was it. Because it certifies you on the street. So, he offered me, at the time, he offered me a position. Yo, you know, um, I don't have much in salary right now, but yo, come rock with me on this. This is something that is, it could be lucrative later on, but at least, uh, you can rock with me, meet these individuals and have a little fun. But I was fresh, just touched down, had a PO that was, off the chain. So, I told him, no, well, right now I'm trying to get my book off and, I'm going, hand in hand, old school with these books, selling them out the trunk. I appreciate it, but I can't be running around with you. You going state to state and all that. Not right now. So, anytime he was in the town, we get up, we go out, we eat, we chop it up. And, when, my mother was passing, that kind of took me out of the set for a minute because I was with her every day. And when she passed, I was, I don't even recall that. Now, a lot of it was a blur. All I remember is the hospitals, back and forth, the trying to wish that things would go in a different direction, and really not understanding it. I didn't understand it because I didn't know that she was that ill. So when she passed, and my daughter was about to arrive, and I was still on parole and still trying to figure out, what I'm going to do. How am I going to navigate this? How am I going to push past all this that's coming at me? I got that call. And that was the last thing that I was thinking about or expecting to hear that that my friend, that my buddy from a little guy had tragically died in an auto accident. And to see that post yesterday from Fran, I was like, damn, that was that long ago. And that was in that close of a time span, to lose your mother, one of your best friends, and another friend, a young guy that, I did time with who had came down and tragically took his own life. Yo, a blur. After losing those three people and then that following month to have my daughter, it was a blur for a minute, for a good minute. I just made an attempt to stay focused. I made an attempt to analyze what was going on the street. I kept studying, researching, remaining conscious and woke. And during all that time, going back and forth to the building, I would always run into Ameer. And the funny thing is, Ameer started driving trucks because of having these talks with Doug and Orpheus and knowing that we had a lot of individuals in our building in 155 that used to drive trucks, Mr. Nate and Mr. Joe and there was always somebody out there to push that entrepreneurial spirit. So Amir always was an entrepreneur, always. He worked for cable for about a decade, but after that, he started his own thing. If it wasn't driving trucks and um, doing independent contract work and things like that, he damn sure wasn't working for nobody. And the same with JustO. I mean, he created this whole mixtape awards, and um, in researching it and researching and looking up some of the winners, I came across an old XXL piece on him, and it read or reads, the 2006 JustO Mixtape Awards honored not only the sources of hip hop the scores of hip hop DJs who mean so much to the culture, but also the event's founder, JustO Faison, who died in a car accident in May of 2005. Unfortunately, last year's ceremony at Harlem's Apollo Theater was marred by various scuffles and arguments and was eventually shut down early by the NYPD due to overcrowding. Last night, May 8th, the 2006 winners finally got a chance to collect their awards at a special fundraising event on the Harlem bowling lanes. The gathering, intended to raise funds for the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, doubled as a second award ceremony. The honorees expected to attend included Steve Rifkin, who received the Mixtape Top Executive and Lifetime Achievement Award, and DJ Woo Kid, who won for Best Mixtape Radio Show. Right? So this is how powerful and how prestigious this award had become from my day one. From my day one. You know? And again, when you are sitting in the mix of that, acknowledging one's best friend who passed away and his birthday was being celebrated yesterday, and then catching a glimpse of that and to, just recalling that friendship from a little one to burying, my cousin, the emotions are all over the place. All right? You're definitely sad because someone has transitioned that, you cared so much about. But in seeing all of the family and friends who you haven't seen in a while, who share those memories with you, it puts you on a different plane. So it was a lot that was, going on for the past few days. And I'm no different than others who are either caring for an elder who may transition or who may have a child who transitioned. I even just saw a posting by one of my other good friends, Shannon Holmes, the uh, independent book author from the Bronx, right? The author of Be More Careful, and he just put a post, and someone very dear to him passed, and again, we are all going through these, times, these uncertain times, and in those uncertain times, some can lose hope, and when you lose that hope, as you can see, things get very dark. Things get very dangerous, because that's what we're witnessing now. A lot of people have lost hope, right? Because, as we said on other bills, faith is blind because you never seen it. You never witnessed the greatness. So it's faith. It's taught, it's spoken, it's thought, it's believed. But you didn't see it happening. You didn't see it. You didn't witness the. It's a blind faith. Hope is something that you have seen and witnessed happen before. It has a history. There has been a space, right? Like, I hope I can get some money so I can pay my bills. And in that hope, or in the mix and in between, you find a way to pay your bills. So hope, right? And whatever you put hope in, usually there has been a tangible result at the end of it. There has been a witness at the end of it, right? So you keep hope. You keep pushing. You keep moving. You hoping that the outcome has happened the way it happened before. So when people lose hope and they have no faith, recipe for all type of nastiness. Disgusting. It's just what it is. It's disgusting. So we are witnessing that. There's no hope. All right? Y'all get me? If y'all get me, give me a couple of purple hearts. Let me know y'all up in the spot. You dig? Remember, hope and faith, two different things. Entirely different things. So as we move in, we have to find that. There has to be something there. You have to have witness to something great in order for you to see, right? You plan, you have an outcome, you have to have hope in order to get it there. Faith is totally different. Faith is blind, faith could be absent, faith may not never end up being actually true. But some hope is always around the corner. And our children, our culture, or pieces of it don't have hope. They don't have a hopeful message. That's what we're looking at now. We're looking at a culture. We're looking at people who are influenced by it. Absolutely no hope. Excuse me. Absolutely no hope. Which is what bothered me, because after the funeral and the praise and the repast and the hugs and me having to go back home, I started looking and saying, I really don't want to go on tonight. However, I did make a promise to the tribe that I would be on as much as I could. So I'm looking, searching, and I come across Vibe magazine article again. Vibe is so divisive. It just is. Every time I pluck something from news and start researching, I see something from Vibe. It's so divisive. But anyway, this particular statement, which happens to, again, deal with what I'm talking about with JustO and the Mixtape Awards and Ameer and all this stuff in East New York, fits right in. This article, and it's just a snippet. It says, Patrick Beverly blames rap music for Ja Morant's recent behavior. Now, Patrick Beverley's an NBA player, if some of the sisters don't know, right? And is, you know, from my witness, a little off, can be a little off, you know? But this is the statement. And I looked at it, didn't allow it to trigger me, but it's like, you know what? This is what a lot of people are believing and holding as true in their hearts. So he says, again, this is the title, Patrick Beverley blames music for Ja Morant's recent behavior. It said Patrick Beverley believes hip-hop is to blame for Ja Morant's recent controversies. During a recent episode of the Pat Bev podcast with Rome, bless, Bob. Salute for the super chat. During a recent episode of the Pat Bev podcast with Rome, oh, so he got a podcast too, huh? Everybody do. The Chicago Bulls guard took a crack at analyzing the Nike ambassador's gun incident and decided that rap music contributed to his concerning behavior. Quote, unquote, the music we listen to is real big. What the rappers are saying is crazy to say this, but Charleston White was absolutely correct. Beverly, 34 years old, expressed. The music we listen to and how that is the new brand. The music say, I keep a gun, I do this, and I do that. That turns into I need a gun. I think it's the music, man. I ain't bashing the music because I'm listening to that too. I'm not up at 9 a.m. listening to it though. I'm game day listening to it. So, again, this is someone that's 34 that is saying to an audience, a wide audience, you got to be, you know, I mean, I didn't know he had a podcast, but I'm sure a lot of the ballers and family, because he's, you know, he's not a absent, right, or down low. He's Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley, you know, he get busy. So I'm sure that podcast has a couple of 100,000 listeners. And at 34 years old, he's saying that he's blaming rap music, the culture, for Ja Morant's behavior. So again, we have one of us attacking our youth, attacking a subgenre of the culture, and basically it's, you know, I don't know where you're getting it from, but this is what he says. This is what he believes. So again, listen, if the music can do that, why can't the reverse happen? If the music can be blamed for destruction, at what point can the music be praised for uplifting? Or if that is actual and factual, because he said it, a couple others said it, a lot of people have been saying it. But they are the ones who are in position. Well, not necessarily this one. I mean, he has a podcast and is a basketball player. But others who are in the industry should be able to not only change what is common within the message of the music, but also hold the executive and those who throw it out there responsible for it. Now, when we was speaking on JustO Mixtape Awards, there was absolutely no way for him to control what was on the tape that was submitted to him as an artistic piece, but he had the power to critique it and to whether or not it had value. And in that sense, when you went to the Mixtape Awards, right, there was a hope that something was going to be positive, something that was going to represent the culture or is representing the culture would win an award, would be held valuable, will be deemed as something that the culture will appreciate and need it. And we don't have that at all anymore. That's gone. That's gone. The only way we can bring it back or begin to emphasize it is with us. We have to make sure that we are in control of who holds our attention. What shows we watch, what podcasts we may listen to, who we watch on YouTube. We have the power to control that. And when we do that, then in essence, we are controlling what enters the minds and the energies of our young folks who are going to be the leaders of the next generation to come. So if we allow the process of poisoning to continuously happen and take ourselves out of it, those who claim to know better and want to do better, we're not moving anywhere. Not at all. So me, praising these two brothers, these two men who I love dearly. Make no bones about it. Most of the people in NYCHA houses, PennWortman houses, hold my heart. They do. They do. So in being reminded, that we lost JustO in May and that his birthday was just yesterday, and then dealing with, loss of Ameer Lawton, we have to be the custodial managers of our thoughts and our emotions. Because if we're not, we can be triggered and at that triggering point, fail. And do something or say something that will have severe consequences later on. Because, just like some of you who seek me for counsel and advice, I'm telling you, I'm only able to do it because of what I absorb on a regular basis. So I don't come here and act as if it's all peachy and shit with me. Half the time it's not. But, as a professional, as a service provider, I have to sit and provide for people who are not able to, in that time, be strong and face their challenges. But I go through a lot. Definitely. And I have a support system. Some of you might not even know it, but some of you get leaned on, here and there. I bounce ideas and thoughts and things off of people and watch how they respond, and that's a fuel, that's fuel for me. So, that's about it. I'll be back at it tomorrow. I think maybe after tonight, after I lay and rest. I haven't really been sleeping well for the past few days. anticipating what today would feel like, you know, and you know, in that, I found a space where I would be able to talk. I should cry like a baby again today. I'll tell you that. You know, I definitely was the first one to speak. You know, gave my speech, and that was it. That was it. It all came down once again. So again, we going through it. We all go through it. But how do we respond? Where do we pull strength from? Who is helping us along the way? These are important things. There's consciousness, being woke, awareness of self, and all this other fly stuff that people claim to be so solid with. That's mental. That's mental. How do you keep your spirits up? How in tune are you with your emotions? Do you know any emotions other than anger or sadness? There's a bunch of other emotions that we don't tap into, you know? So how are you recharging? How do you make it? Can't be all up here. If it had, we would have been there already. It ain't all up here, you know? But I always appreciate you all, you know, for allowing me to be transparent. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming through all the time. You dig? To hear what the kid got to say. And, you know, in all reality, wanting to be educated by you so I can educate you. So I appreciate y'all for all of that. You dig? But I'm going to fall back for a minute, you know, get myself together and have another go at it tomorrow. Right? Or when, you know, when I open my eyes, when I'm conscious and functioning. I thank y'all all for coming through. I thank my moderators. All right? I'm glad y'all showed up and sat here with me. I see T in the building, right? I see Kelly. I see Yvette and everybody else in the spot. I saw V in here. I don't know where she went. That's Charles and everybody. Salute, 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 salute. Moses Singleton in the spot. You know, everybody. Trap Buddha. What'd you say, Trap Buddha? When I grew up, I had all the t-shirts. My cousin was his man. Okay, that's what's up. Peace, Bliz. Peace. That's what's up. Yeah. You know? Peace, 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 Tunes. What up? I'm on my way out of here. I promised y'all Q&A. Green screen Q&A. That's coming. That's coming. That's coming. So have your little change ready so y'all can pick my brain. Also, I know y'all been hearing, because I heard it, that me and Charleston White was working together, working on some things. Yeah. We have, you know, a very good camaraderie and conversation, but I don't know to what extent the business aspect will come into that, you know. We definitely have been communicating probably more than a year now. So it's not a rumor, you know, it's just a matter of mechanics and functionings and understandings before it manifests into something, you know? So that's true. But other than that, we'll holler. We'll holler again. Thanks for all the best wishes and condolences and shouts and all the support. All right? I will holler at y'all later. Salute, salute, salute. Remember, anyone needs an assessment, anybody needs any anger management, domestic violence, or what are we titling it now, intimate partner violence, you know where I'm at. Email me, DM me, inbox me, and set it up. Let's make it happen. Kenny Mac, what's up? What's good? You're very welcome, Bobby. Very welcome. You know, get at me and don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't do it. Correct what needs to be corrected today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow you could be triggered and have an episode. Right? And then it'll be, too late then. All right, Kenny Mac, no doubt. I'm chilling. Again, salute. Don't believe in me, believe in my belief in you. You got it. Just sit and be patient with yourself. You got it. All right? Salute.